नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं ईश्वरो व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नारायणः परो व्यक्तात् अण्डमव्यक्तसम्भवम् अण्डस्यान्तस्त्विमे लोकाः सप्तद्वीपा च मेदिनी। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यां तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Verse 32. ये त्वेतदभ्यसूयन्तः नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतम् सर्वज्ञानविमूढांस्तान् विद्धि नष्टान चेतसः। ये त्वेतदभ्यसूयन्तः नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतम् सर्वज्ञानविमूढांस्तान् विद्धि नष्टान चेतसः। This is the second part of these contrasting verses. Earlier we saw ye me matamidam nityam manavaha ye manavaha me idam matam nityam anutishtanti. Those who follow the vision of Bhagavan for the benefit of humanity. What is the vision? Moksha, oneness of everything, and to gain that, twofold lifestyles are there. One is to give up everything immediately, and the other one is what? To give up everything slowly. That's the only two lifestyles. One is called Jnana Nishtha, another one is Karma Yoga, Karma Nishtha, Karma Yoga Nishtha or Jnana Nishtha. So then Jnana Yoga is the yoga here means lifestyle. And so those who don't follow and those who follow, what happens to them is talked about here, is in the 31st verse. Just to sum it up, what was there? The ones who follow, how Shraddhavantaha. This Shraddha is, as we will see in chapter 4, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. So, out of all the qualifications, if you had to choose one, Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, choose Shraddha. Shraddha will bring in everything else. It's not that Shraddha is the only one needed. Otherwise, why every other one would be mentioned? It is useless. All the others are mentioned. Why? Because Shraddha is there, others are also useful. It's not that others are useless, but Shraddha shines with a special luster. Why? Because when you have Shraddha, it is easy to gain the other qualifications. It brings in all the other qualifications. Pujya Swamiji would describe it as a bunch of noodles. Like when you pick up one, you can't pick up one noodle. So if you have Shraddha, all of it, Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, everything comes along. And this is what is talked about here. Shraddha means basically trust. Developing trust is not easy. Cultivating trust is not easy. Why? Because the whole life one has cultivated the opposite. What is that? Distrust. Whole life. In fact, even the society, the community, starting with the family, participates in cultivating this distrust. The child is told, don't go with strangers. You see, already, the child doesn't know who is stranger. Anybody who is loving, the child will go. But for the protection, especially living in Kali Yuga, the parents have to tell the child, don't go with strangers, don't take candy from strangers, don't get into somebody else's car. If you don't know, be suspicious. So this is how we grow up, and with good reason. I'm not saying they shouldn't do that. Definitely, this is how we grow up, and this is how, because in the world a certain kind of a vigilance is needed. For the protection of the body, for the protection of the belongings, certain things is needed. You can't just say, I have a lot of Shraddha. I have just studied this portion of Bhagavad Gita. So what are you going to do? I'm no longer going to lock my room. You can't do that. Because these are at, there is almost at cross purposes, that the things that are useful in Vyavahara are not useful for the study of Paramarthika as oneself. That is how always there is a rub. So the whole life is developed, is spent in getting rid of Shraddha, partly because of the protection of the body, mind, sense complex and one's belongings, and partly also this is again has to do with the unconscious mind, partly because of the unconscious mind. What happens in the unconscious mind? There is a drop in trust. Every child has a drop in trust. First, the child idealizes the parents. Oh, mother can talk, father can walk, these are gods. For the child, mother and father are Bhagavan, definitely. Until it starts to know a little more better. Father tells the child, don't tell lies. And then, what else? Doorbell rings. Father tells whoever it is, tell them I'm not at home. And what does the child tell? Father told to tell you that he is not at home. Children are innocent. They will just say how it is. Correct? But the child knows there is some kind of a disconnect. I am being told never to tell untruth, whereas this father is telling the untruth. I am being told to always follow this, but this mother is not following what I am told to follow. So then the mother and the father lose their God status in the child's mind. As the child grows up, the God status gets disturbed and then finally lost. And this is part of the niyati. Niyati means the cycle, the order. Which part of the order? The psychological order. It's all very well planned that there is an erosion of trust. As the unconscious mind is forming in the heart of the child, around age 4 or 5, there is an erosion of trust. The child suddenly feels, oh my God, I'm all on my own. Yes, these people are parents, but look at them. They can barely take care of themselves. I have to take care of them also. And like this, the child feels a lot of kind of a departure from trust. Can't quite call it distrust at this point, but there is no more trust. And this is a natural way of growing up in the world, and then that whole cycle is complete when I discover Ishvara as the mother and father of the universe. That same mother and father in whom the trust was lost is gained as part and parcel of the emotional growth and spiritual growth by discovering the mother and father of the universe. See, from the disappointment centered on the local mother and father, where have I set my sights on? On the ultimate mother and father. That mother and father who will never disappoint in the form of Ishvara, that I discover, and then the journey is complete. That is what is moksha. The discovery of the infallible, not only as mother and father, that's again an interim step, as non-separate from me, myself. And so here, Shraddha, the person who has Shraddha gains the knowledge, it is said, because if we are Vivekinaha, if we have Viveka, what will we do? We will start cultivating Shraddha right away. That is the thing to cultivate. So, Shraddhaya Ashraddham Stara. Ashraddham Tara. In the Samagana, there is a very beautiful Rathantara Samagana, which says you have to cross this bridge. Cross the bridge that is difficult to cross. Dustaran setum stara. And then, what is the bridge? To cross Ashraddha, make a bridge of Shraddha. Oh, but how to do that? I don't have Shraddha. Okay, fake it and make it. It's not that you don't have Shraddha. That you think you don't have Shraddha you are faking it already, is the wrong understanding. You have Shraddha, it has been inhibited and covered up by years of betrayal, real or perceived. And so, when we convert that feeling of betrayal to Bhagavan, that betrayal is a manifestation of Bhagavan in the form of the karmic order. When I understand, then the Shraddha slowly returns. Shraddha is acceptance, Shraddha is trust. Shraddha is growing to a place of not having to protect oneself all the time. This is the Shraddha that one has to have, and that one cultivates. And when one cultivates that, then tepi, all those people also, even though they are not sannyasis, te muchyante te api karmabhihi. Karmabhihi means from papa punya and thinking of them as themselves as kartas. So kartrutva buddhehe mucyanti. They get freed from the doership and thinking of themselves as doers. And then the next verse is contrasted to this, because there will always be some Brihaspatis. Who are these Brihaspatis? They will say, what if I don't do this? Fir kya hoga? I am not planning to have Shraddha. What will happen to me? I am not planning to follow the vision of the Bhagavad Gita. So what? So for these so what people, this wonderful verse set of two, the second one is given, Yetu, and those who, whereas, Yetu, tad means this teaching, tad abhyasuyantaha. Abhyasuyantaha means those who are intolerant of the teachings, and that for that we have to include what he said in the earlier Bhashya also, of the Guru, of the Shastra. Guru, Shastra are a package deal. You cannot say, I like the teaching, but I don't want the teacher. You cannot do that on your own. If you find a book called DIY Vedanta, what is DIY? Don't buy it, okay? It's a waste of money. There is no DIY. It's a package deal. So, if you say, I want the teaching will bring the teacher along for free. This is how it is. But then, if there is asuya means the intolerance and not seeing the relevance of Bhagavan, teacher, Shastra, etc., then so na anutishtanti me matam here is not opinion, mama shasanam me mama upadeshaha. So if my teachings they na anutishtanti, do not practice, do not follow, ye tu etad abhyasuyantah. So etad means this teaching, abhyasuyantah means they find fault with the teaching. They say, oh, Bhagavad Gita, somebody said, what did they write? Some academic. Bhagavad Gita is very repetitive. As though this person has a memory of some kind of Einstein, Bhagavad Gita is repetitive. The word yoga comes in so many places, so many times. The Lord is repeating himself. So, like this, without understanding why the repetition is there or what is in teaching repetition is allowed. So, without understanding that, those who find fault, who are critical, and who are constantly criticize the teaching and the manner in which it is taught and the teacher, all these things. What will happen to them? Na anutishtanti, they don't follow the vision of the Bhagavan, of the Bhagavad Gita, given in the Bhagavad Gita. Who are they? Achetasaha, they are avivekinaha. So, avivekinaha, they have no discrimination. Discrimination between what and what? Nitya and anitya. This is the nitya vastu is called viveka. That is the differentiation between nitya vastu and anitya vastu. That is what viveka is. So viveka means what? Distinguishing between the permanent and the impermanent. What is permanent? Atma. Abba, finally. Yeah. Little delayed, but at least the response came. And that too the correct response. So what is impermanent? Everything else. Everything else other than Atma, I, is impermanent. So then if this distinction is very clearly understood, it is called Purushartha Nishchaya. So Purushartha means what is the goal in life. Sarvaihi Purushaihi Arthyate. That which is sought after by everybody, all people regardless of gender, nationality, country, everything, that which is sought after uniformly by everybody, universally, is called Purushartha. And they are divided into 4, as we have seen. What is the first one? Dharma. Dharma means what? Everybody should be kind to me. How are you going to enforce that? Oh, I guess I have to be kind to everybody. Exactly. That is how. This is dharma. Then next one, what does that mean? Security. Then kama, various kinds of aesthetic and other pleasures. And then finally, moksha. So this Purushartha Nishchaya means selecting which Purushartha leads me to Nitya and which others lead me to what? Anitya. This is Viveka. Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka means choosing the Nitya, first finding out which is Nitya and then choosing that Nitya over the Anitya. Because if you choose Dharma also, how long you can be Dharmic? What will you get out of Dharma? You will just get a relative peace of mind, relative freedom from conflict. All that is wonderful. But again, it is not permanent. And then out of Artha, security, money, etc., as soon as you deposit the money in the bank, it has depreciated. Most impermanent thing is money, really. That's why in another text it is called Lakshmi Toya Taranga Bhanga Chapala. Yeah, so what is Lakshmi? So Toya, water, Taranga, waves, Bhanga means this, like the waves which keep getting broken up. One wave comes, another wave gone. Lakshmi is like that. So, having Chapala, having desire for this Lakshmi is like that. So, security, the very search for security is wrong because it is based on the premise that the I is insecure. You see, it's a wrong premise. The very what is that? A pursuit called kama means anything that makes me comfortable is wrong because it is assumed that I am of the nature of unhappiness, therefore I have to make myself happy. The premise itself is wrong in these two purusharthas. Dharma, of course, is common for everything. Dharma is karma yoga here. And then all that is left now is moksha. So the viveka, the viveki, the one who has viveka goes to where? Goes immediately to moksha. Why? Because it's not enough to say all this is anitya and this is nitya. Yay, I have viveka. So what are you going to do? Follow anitya. That makes no sense. So here, the one who is viveki will follow nitya. But here, what are we talking about? The one for whom these teachings do not shine is called aviveki. Aviveki. Here it's called achetasaha. Achetasaha literally means heartless. That doesn't make sense because everybody has a heart. But what kind of a heart? A heart that is not given to moksha. If the heart is not given to moksha, what is it given to? Every single pursuit in the world, the heart is distributed to everything and there is no heart for the teaching left. So you put such a person in the class, they will be looking here, in between few little, what is that, nods. They'll nod off, look here, look there, and then look at somebody else. Why are they laughing? What happened? And then what did they drop? What did they pick up? Not interested. This is what will happen, unfortunately. So this Shraddha has to be cultivated. It was told this thing, if the Shraddha is not there, all these things happen. First is achetas, the person becomes achetas, where the heart is literally given away to various pursuits and various preoccupations, and then there is no space, inner space left for the appreciation of the truth of oneself, left for the appreciation of moksha, pursuit of moksha. And then not only that, forget moksha, how are they in their everyday life? They are sarvajnana vimudha. Vimudha, mudha from muh, fourth conjugation, deluded. Mudha, deluded. Vimudha, nicely deluded. And then sarvajnana vimudha, nicely deluded with what? With reference to what? All branches of knowledge, not only all branches of knowledge, the things kim kartavyam, kim akartavyam, kim karyam, akaryam. What is dharma, adharma, they don't know. What should be done, what should not be done, they don't know. What to pursue, what to not pursue, they don't know. And even in their everyday life, not that their everyday life is going brilliantly, no. If you have no viveka, the everyday life is also a drag. You drag yourself out of bed, you drag yourself to work, you drag yourself back home, you drag yourself like this. Because there is no utsaha, there is no energy. The energy comes from pursuing, knowing what to pursue. There is no enthusiasm for life because all the wrong pursuits have been taken into account. The right pursuit is not being done. So sarvajnana with reference to all kinds of knowledges, they are not very much there. They are not there at all. With reference to all kinds of knowledges, they are not there. And so what to do as a result? So we have to see that there is a problem here. That is what is to be seen. Sarvajnana vimudhan. So what happens to them? Vidhi, please know. Please know them what? Nashtan. They are all but destroyed. Destroyed doesn't mean they die. Destroyed means their buddhi is gone. And then in the second chapter, which was, I forgot, 62, 63 thereabouts, we had seen in the whole chain. What was the chain? Dhyayato vishayan pumsah sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamah kamat krodho bhijayate krodhat bhavati sammohah sammohat smriti bhramah then smriti bhramshat buddhinashah buddhinashat this nasha pranashyati. Oh, but there it says pranashyati, here it says nashta, same thing. There present and here past passive participle. That's the only thing. Same verb, nash. Nash, to be destroyed. And so there when the buddhi is so, there is a desire for something, and that desire is a binding desire because it will not shut up until it is fulfilled. And then the person tries to get it, does not get it, gets angry. Because of anger there is delusion. Because of delusion there is forgetting of who one is. One forgets, I am a mumukshu, I should not be doing this. One forgets all about that. And then finally the buddhi is affected. When the buddhi is destroyed, the whole person is as though destroyed. So here, because they have no viveka, and with reference to everything, what to do and what to not do in the world, how to be in the world, how to be with others in the world, all this they don't understand. They kind of fumble through life, know them to be as though destroyed, as good as destroyed. Because why? They are not following what is to be done. They are not following the teachings, they have no value for the teaching, plus they don't have shraddha. So they question everything. They question the teacher, they question the teaching, they question all the things they question. So, bhashya, ye tu tad viparitaha etad mama matam. So matam here, so these people, who are they? Tad viparitaha. These are opposite to what was talked about in verse 31. These are the people. And then, so ye me matam, these me matam means anushasanam abhyasuyantaha. Since this abhyasuyantaha was already explained, he doesn't explain it again. Na anutishtanti, na anuvartate, na anuvartante. So they don't follow these teachings. These teachings are not just for moksha, they are also about how to live life intelligently. They have given away their buddhi on rent to somebody else, and so they don't have the buddhi, and so they don't understand how to live the life. So he does the vicheda of this samasa like this: Sarveshu jnaneshu, with reference to all bodies of knowledge, vividham modhaha, variously deluded. Because what will they say? They will say all the things that should not be, it's all upside down. What all should not be done, they do. What all should be done, they do not do. Where all one should not go, they go. Where all one should go, they don't go. Like in Vedanta class, like this. They are completely confused, and then know them to be nasham gatan, nashtan, nasham gatan, achetasaha, avivekinaha. This is not much to this thing. And then there is a silent question that might come, Adi Shankara says, and then he introduces the next verse with the help of this silent question which is not asked. What is the question? The question that can come is, why are the people not following the teachings? Teachings are there, right in front. Why they are not following? Sarve manavaha, these all the people, why are they not following? So why are they not going along with this kind of a life which is so easy? Why are they not on the program of managing ragadveshas? Why are they against ragadvesha management? Why don't they grow to manage their likes and dislikes, and in the process grow to karma yoga and then grow to gaining this knowledge? So this question he asks, and then the answer is provided in the next verse. Kasmat punaha, then again why? Kasmat punaha karanat, for what reason? Tvadiyam matam, your teachings, na anutishtanti, they don't follow. What are the teachings? Paradharmam anutishtanti, swadharmam cha na anuvartante. This is very interesting. So, the vision of no division, the vision of Vedanta is the oneness that is there. That has to be discovered. That all that is here, starting with this body, mind, sense complex, all the way up to Ishvara is what? Only Bhagavan. All that is there is Ishvara alone. Nothing else is there. This has to be discovered, assimilated and lived. This has to be received. And for that one has to be receptive. This is what was told. Now the question comes, why don't they follow this vision? So this vision they don't follow. Why? Because of lack of preparation. Preparation is not there. Ragadvesha management has not taken place. How to manage the ragadveshas? By doing what you are supposed to do. That is why there is a very big emphasis on Swadharma as an important and in fact a crucial component of Karma Yoga. Swadharma. What you are supposed to do, you have to do. If you don't do what you are supposed to do, you will end up doing what other people are supposed to do. Yeah. Because other people's tasks looks much more interesting than one's own task. Oh, that person is doing that over there. That looks much more nicer. Why have I such a boring job? Why my job alone is so boring and the other person's job is very interesting? We have an expression like that, the grass is always greener on the other side. Seen from the cow's perspective, I suppose. Yeah. So, the cow sitting in this pasture, grazing in one pasture, says that that grass over there, where I cannot go because I have a boundary here, there is a fence, I cannot cross that and go, but then that grass on the other side, where those other cows are grazing, so much greener. And what is that cow over there thinking? This grass over here, that grass over there, which means this grass over here is much more greener. So whatever is in one's lot, one feels it's a lot. That's why it's called a lot. Yeah, it's too much. I can't handle it. How come these people are so, so nice all the time? So for the employee working in the office, the life of the boss is very interesting. He or she gets to go everywhere. One day Japan, one day here, one day there, one day United States, one day somewhere else, and everywhere they go. And because they are going on work, office work, they get first class airfare everywhere. So they are sitting and enjoying themselves, they are just so happy. And they are sitting and enjoying first class food, and then they are going. And obviously when they go to all these exotic places, they can go and see things around. So they have seen all the wonders of the world, they have seen the beaches, they have seen the monuments, they have seen the artifacts, they have seen history, and nothing to them is anymore a mystery. This is the kind of life they lead. From whose standpoint? From the office employee standpoint, the faithful person who manages the office and who does everything that needs to be done, keeps everything going till the boss comes back and then reports to the boss, this happened, this, whatever. From the boss's standpoint, things look very different. The boss is jealous of this employee. Why? Well, he or she gets to stay in one place all the time. gets to eat home cooked food. Half the food I can't eat, the other half I can't digest. This is what the boss is thinking to himself. Half the food is intolerable, I don't even know what it is. And of course, if you are vegetarian, then going to all these places is very hazardous, because you don't know what is being served. Every time you have to ask, because sometimes they think vegetarian includes fish, seafood. Yeah. So therefore, you cannot just see food and then eat it. Okay? Yeah, because it could be seafood. So seafood is there, and so many other things are there. Egg is there, and even if you just order soup, it could have chicken water. What is that called? Stock. Yeah, chicken stock. We don't know. So therefore, the boss is thinking, oh my God, here I'm working so hard and no sleep. Different one day in one country, and then the planes are, I may be going in first class, but sleep doesn't come, and I'm always sleep deprived, I'm always overworked. And look at this person, happily, just no problem at all, happily staying at home, happily eating home cooked food, and can have their routine. I don't have a routine at all. Like this, for each person, no matter what their placement in society, the other person's job and what the other person's karmic lot is there, always sounds better, sounds much more alluring, sounds much more attractive. And so why does it do this? Because of lack of raga dvesha management. I have raga for the other person's job and dvesha for my own job. This is what it is. What I am supposed to do, I have dvesha, I have raga for the other person's job. So the ingenious way of raga dvesha management is coming to a sense of glad acceptance as to what one has to do in life. Then everything becomes very easy. So here the people who don't follow the vision are divided into two. So who are they? So they are people who don't see the vision or appreciate the vision, and then as a result, though out of those who don't appreciate the vision, what is the tendency? Swadharmam cha na anuvartante tvat pratikulaha. So they don't follow what is not to be done. Pratikulaha, they are against the vision. Swadharmam na anuvartante, they don't follow what is to be done. Katham na bibhyati. So tvat shasana atikrama doshat. Tvat shasana atikrama doshat katham na bibhyati. How come they don't fear? What do they not fear? Tvat shasana atikrama, transgressing your vision for them. Oh Lord, how come? This is the question in Arjuna's mind that has not been asked, that Adi Shankara is articulating. So, tvat shasana pratikula, so meaning tvat shasana atikrama doshat. How come they are not afraid of what? Doshat, of the fallacy of transgressing your wish, your teachings, going contrary to your teachings. How come they are not afraid of violating the dharma given to them by you? How come they are not afraid? Why don't they follow? Why is it not easy for people to follow what is to be done and refrain from what is not to be done? And the answer, of course, is what? Ragadvesha. Ragadvesha alone is the answer. That is why Ragadvesha management is the topic of chapters, the whole Bhagavad Gita, but specifically 3, 4, 5, these chapters really talk about Ragadvesha management in a big way before turning to other topics of a Ishvara oriented topics. in the second and the third of the Bhagavad Gita. And so here too, the same question arises, how come they transgress these laws? You have given them free will and they are transgressing this. How come they do that? Why do they do that? And then the answer is given in the next verse. Sadrishan cheshtate swasyaha prakriter jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigrahah kim karishyati. Sadrishan cheshtate swasyaha prakrite jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraham kim karishyati. Sadrisham cheshtate swasyaha prakritehe sadrisham cheshtate. Sadrisham means anukulam, anurupam, along with. Cheshtate, they behave. The person behaves. Cheshtate, so they behave. How do they behave? Prakritehe sadrisham, in accordance to their nature. What nature are we talking about here? Satchidananda nature? No. What kind of nature? Ragadvesha nature. So Prakriti here is a code word for Ragadvesha. Why not just say Ragadvesha? Because you will stop listening. Why? Because you will have Dvesha for the word Ragadvesha, and you will stop listening. Therefore, Bhagavan keeps changing the terminology. So Prakriti here is the code word for what? Raga and Dvesha. That is what the Prakriti is. So, and he will say that. He will say it in a very fancy way. You will see in the Bhashya. But basically it's strong preferences and prejudices. That is what is this so-called Prakriti. So Jnanavanapi, even the person of knowledge. Here the sannyasi or the person of self-knowledge, Jnanavanapi, Prakritehe sadrisham cheshtate. Even the person of knowledge goes in keeping with their likes and dislikes. Meaning, a Mahatma from South India, if you take them to what? Kashmir, sitting in Kashmir also they will say, where are the idlis? 1 or 2 days they may eat whatever is given there. Afterwards, they will say, where is the idli? So then, therefore, that means what? That there is a certain tendency to go along with the likes and dislikes. Same thing, if a Mahatma from Punjab is taken to Tamil Nadu, well, they will look for their jalebi, they will look for the parathas. This is what they will want. This is somehow, this is somehow seen as natural. But in the difference between Jnani and Ajnani is that if the Jnani does not get idli, even in Italy, then they are not going to start crying. Okay? This is the difference. Whereas the person bound by the Ragadveshas will be inconsolable. I didn't get what I want. I never get what I want. This is how they will say. But the person of knowledge, they may have their wants, but they are not, they are not upset if those wants are left unfulfilled. This is a very big difference. But even the Jnani, we see that they like their certain things. They will like, or they will have the habit of going certain ways or doing certain things in certain ways. But it is harmless because the Jnani does not in the process violate dharma. The one who violates dharma is who? Ajnani. And so, when the Jnani himself, herself is going along with certain harmless likes and dislikes, because the likes and dislikes have been converted into ash. That is why it is called what? Vibhuti. Vibhuti means glory. So first the Ragadveshas are converted into ash, and from this mound of ash, like Lord Shiva, the Jnani can apply the remnants of the raga dveshas which have no hold. Why? Because they are converted into ash. One small child asked me, what is the difference between Vishnu and Shiva? I said, Vishnu is equal to cash, Shiva, ash. That's what I said. So, because I had very little time to explain. So, this ash is which is characteristic of Lord Shiva, and the third eye blazing. And wow, who did the third eye swallow? Kamadeva. Kamadeva is desire. Swallows up the desire, turns the desire. Desire is another word for what? Ragadvesha. Turns the desire into ash, and then you can smear the whole body with it. It doesn't really come and bite you back. It becomes an adornment. So the Jnani is also under Prakriti. Here, Ragadveshas. So the Ragadveshas are dead for the Jnani, and the ash of the Ragadveshas may be adorning the Jnani, and they become kind of, for the devotees of the Jnani, they become very cute quirks, very nice things to enjoy. Just like the, the peacock feather of Lord Krishna, Vibhuti. Flute, peacock feather, wearing yellow clothes, and then teasing the gopis. All this we enjoy because there is not some kind of a pressure there. So the pressure exerting ragadveshas, the pressure has been removed and burnt away. So the ragadveshas are like putting your hand in a 1-month-old baby's mouth. It will clamp the jaws together, but there is no teeth in the bite. The ragadveshas are rendered toothless. So the Jnani, even for the Jnani, the Jnani may have ragadveshas, but they don't, they are not affected by them. So Prakritim yanti bhutani. So they go the way of ragadveshas. Nigraha kim karishyati. Who can stop them? How can they be stopped? Why? Because you are Ishvara, you should be able to stop. Well, the order of Ragadvesha is also what? Ishvara. How can Ishvara go against Ishvara? If Ragadveshas were from some other entity, then Ishvara can stop them. Who gave Ragadveshas? Ishvara. That is the correct answer. So if Ishvara has given Ragadveshas and people are going along with Ragadveshas, you cannot say, Ishvara, why did you give Ragadveshas? Or do something, take away the Ragadveshas. I can't take away. Why? Because I cannot go against myself. I am the Ragadveshas. I cannot also be the remover. I am manifest in the form of Ragadveshas. I cannot also be the remover of what? Ragadveshas. So this very beautiful baby section is going to come up till verse 33 to 37. Sadrisham cheshtate swasyaha prakritehe jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani. Everybody follows the so-called nature. What is the nature? Filled with likes and dislikes. That is what is pertinent to us now. So, what does the Bhashya say? Let us see. Sadrisham anurupam cheshtate, behave. Acharati. What? Kasyaha prakritehe swasyaha swakiyayaha prakritehe. So they go in accordance to their own nature. What is nature? He is going to talk about it. Prakritir nama purvakrita dharma adharmadi samskaraha vartamana janmadau abhivyaktaha sa prakritihi. So what is this prakriti? Abhivyaktaha, that which is manifest is prakriti. What is manifest? Vartamana where is it manifest? Vartamana janmadau, in this current life it is manifest. What is manifest? Purvakrita, previously done karma, which were what? Papa based or punya based? So dharma means punya based the karma, and then adharma means papa producing karma. So purvakrita, done previously. What was done previously? Dharma adharmadi samskaraha. Previously done impressions of the actions based on dharma and adharma. What was to be done they did, and what was not to be done they did not do, or the opposite, what was to be done they missed, what was not to be done they picked up, and then the samskaras, the remaining impressions from that abhivyaktah, manifest in this life form, in this particular life, is called prakriti. So whether it is a righteous act or an unrighteous act performed in this or other lives, and then that is manifest in this life, the effects of that, the remnants of that, meaning the certain memories of that will be there. So sometimes we find this, that even though the parents are not at all musical, the child will have a musical bent even at a small age. The parents cannot even chant one note properly, and the child is composing something big like Mozart. So like this, what is there to explain? How to explain this? We can say that in the last life, whatever was done, whether it was good or bad, whether it was based on dharma or adharma, whether it was punya karma or papa karma, the effects of that, the impressions of that are being manifest in this life, and that is what is called prakriti, those samskaras from the previous lives. So now this whole karma model is what? This is only for the sleeping people. For the sleeping people there is a different shasana, a different teaching. For the sleeping people, sleeping the sleep of atma ajnanam, that is the sleep. Sleeping the endless sleep of atma ajnanam. What is atma ajnanam? Self-ignorance. And so what is the teaching for that? There is such a thing as karma. That past karma has given you this body. And then certain likes and dislikes and certain tendencies can be traced to past life or past life. And then what else? Of course, since you were since you were there is one bird that picks up shiny objects. What is that called? Magpie. It's called magpie. And the magpie, supposedly, whenever anything shines, it just takes it. So because you were a magpie in your last life, you still like shiny objects. You are still drawn to gold. You are still drawn to diamonds and all these things. So like this, one can give a whole diatribe for the person not awakened to their nature. And this karma, now depending on what you do, the next life will be decided. So make Vedanta your strongest wish, so that next life what will happen? But before moksha can happen, you should have a human body. Next life I should be born as a human being. And don't think once a human being, always a human being. No, not at all. This is not Darwinian theory of evolution. A spiritual evolution does not go according to Darwin. That is science, that is something else. So here it is not in keeping with the survival of the fittest and all that. Here, anyhow it can go. So then, when the person is told that in order to get moksha, what do you need? Human body. So to get a human body, what do you need? Lot of punya. So do right things, get a human body. Just in case you miss moksha this time, next time if for sure you can get moksha. This is all the pravachana, the discourses given by the Shruti to the sleeping person, or rather the dreaming person. The sleep of ajnanam gives the nightmare of anyatha jnanam, where all horrible things are happening in the dream. Then finally what? The Guru sprinkles the water of the Upanishads like that, and the person wakes up, and then what? The bad dream is gone. And the bad dream happens to be this Jagat. The bad dream happens to be karma, dharma, papa, punya. All these things are the bad dream. Taking myself to be karta, taking myself to be, what's the other one? Bhokta. This is the bad dream. And with the help of the teaching of the Shastra, vritti jnanam takes place. The knowledge that I am not this at all takes place. I am the whole, I am one with Ishvara takes place. And so the whole karma model, which was so elaborately put together, is completely cleaned up, not a trace left. Gone. What karma? Where? Why? What happened to the karma? The same thing that happened to the karta. What happened to the karta? Falsified in the wake of knowledge. When the karta is falsified, will the karma be true? No. Karma is also falsified because the karta is, as it were, falsified. So the identification with I am the doer is falsified, is shown to be mithya, is shown to be false. A wrong identification is cut, and then what happens? What happens to this? The karta is gone, all the karma phala standing in the name of the karta is also what? Gone. So this whole karma model elaborately put together only to be dismantled. Then if it is supposed to be dismantled, why put it together? Because otherwise the jiva will not know how to do karma yoga. They will not know how to walk the walk of ethical and social responsibility. They will not know. That is why this elaborate setup is done, and then it is dismantled. And so, here, dharma dharmakhyam, this samskaraha vartamana janmadau abhivyaktaha, then sa prakritihi tasyaha sadrisham eva sarvo jantuhu jnanamanapi kim punaha murkha. So if the jnanavan is also going along with the ragadveshas, which have of course been completely fried, they are no longer there, but what to talk of murkha, what to talk of the ignorant one. Tasmat, therefore, prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. Who can take them away from the ragadveshas? Mamava anyasyava. I also cannot come under, I cannot take them out of that, or any other source also cannot do that. Now this is a very difficult position. If everybody is going their way of ragadveshas, then what will happen? Anirmoksha prasangaha. Moksha can never be gained. Anirmoksha prasangaha means the situation where moksha cannot be gained. Why cannot moksha be gained? Moksha cannot be gained because as long as one is in the spell of ragadveshas, moksha is not even a purushartha, correct? So moksha doesn't even come under the purushartha that I want to pursue. So therefore moksha is far away. Moksha cannot be gained if everybody goes ragadvesha, goes according to the raga and dvesha. Then what other possibility is there? Well, the other possibility is that if moksha is not possible, then why do I need shastra? No use of shastra. Shastrasya anarthakyam syat. Anarthakyam means purposelessness of the shastra is the second problem of taking this verse that we just finished, with out of context and just quoting that to the exclusion of the whole vision which we are talking about. So we can't just say that because everybody is in the grip of ragadveshas, this is how it sounds, that other verse. The verse we just finished sounds as though everyone is in the grip of ragadveshas, and because of that everybody, nobody can be controlled, nobody can be managed. Even Bhagavan cannot manage the ragadveshas, what to talk of the jantus, the creatures themselves. So then we have a very precarious situation that is explained as a introduction to the next verse. Yadi sarvo jantuhu atmanah prakriti sadrisham eva cheshtate. Atmanah means Svatmanah, their own prakriti sadrisham cheshtate. They go according to their own nature. Who? All the creatures. Sarve jantavah, all the creatures go in accordance to their own whims, fancies. Then eva cheshtate nacha prakriti shunyah kaschidasti. And further, nobody is free of this prakriti. Prakriti shunyah means not that prakriti is shunya. Prakriti shunyah, free of the effect of prakriti, is nobody. Everybody is under the prakriti. And what is prakriti? We already saw samskaras from righteous and unrighteous action done in this or other lives. We saw that. Then tatah purushakarasya vishaya anupapattehe. Purushakara means there is no free will. This is a very famous question that everybody asks. If everything is predetermined, where is the free will? Even after studying the whole Gita, this question will not go. Again and again it will come, satsang after satsang after satsang. I am trying to preempt it from tonight's satsang. Okay, so prakriti shunyah kaschid nasti. If nobody is free of prakriti, tatah, then what happens? Purushakarasya vishaya anupapattehe. So because of the untenability, anupapattehe means untenability. Because of the untenability of what? Purushakarasya vishaya. Because there is no realm of free will. Purushakara. Purushakara means free will. There is no free will. So in the absence of not being, not being affected by Prakriti, meaning being affected by Prakriti, and then in the absence of their not being a free will, in the absence of free will, then Shastra anarthakya praptau. Then what will be the result? What will be gain? Shastrasya anarthakyam. What is anarthakyam? Uselessness, purposelessness. Why study further? Why to study the 34th verse? Because if the 33rd verse has said that everybody is in the sway of your ragadveshas, then why to even bother? Even the jnani is asking for his or her idlis. So better just stop right here. I was better being a samsari. Why should I be a jnani? Why should I even be a karma yogi? Therefore, uchyate. Kim uchyate? What is said? Let us see. Indriyasya indriyasyarthe ragadveshau vyavasthitau tayorna vashamagachet tauhyasya paripanthinau indriyasyendriyasyarthe ragadveshau vyavasthitau tayorna vashamagachet tauhyasya paripanthinau. Indriyasya indriyasya arthe. So pratindriyasya arthe, for every indriya. Indriyasya indriyasya. It's an Indian way of talking, slowly I come. Yeah. Fast I go. So it is like a vipsa, repetition. Which means for every sense organ, indriyasya arthe. For each and every sense organ. What? the objects of the sense organs are given, and they are divided into two. What are they? Raga and Dvesha. The eyes will see something, and then whatever I see is divided into two. Some things I like, some things I do not like. Ears will hear certain sounds which I like, and certain sounds which I immediately say I don't like. Same thing with the taste. Same thing with the touch. Certain textures I like, certain textures that are rough and hurtful, I don't like to touch. So, indriyasya arthe ragadveshau vyavasthitau. This raga and dvesha are already arranged. Vyavastha means arrangement. Here an infallible arrangement. This is, up till here, the first line talks about Ishvara Srishti. Ishvara's creation, manifestation. So the raga dveshas are part and parcel of Ishvara's creation, and that's why it is expressed in the form of a law. Indriyasya arthe raga dveshau vyavasthitau. Okay, close the book. Not because it is time to end the class, but because what is the point? What is the purpose? Then the purpose of it is given in the next line very beautifully. What does it say? Tayoho vasham na agachet. And where does your free will come into the picture? Not to come under their spell. Ragadveshas are there. In every head there is ragadveshas. If there is a head, there will be ragadveshas. And when I say this, I am not getting ahead, okay? Yes. If there is a head, there will be ragadveshas, but then Purushakara is there. Means being a human being, you have Purushakara, free will, to what? Not come under their spell. Ragadveshas are there, they proliferate. But I am the one who decides which one to follow and which ones to not follow. And then these ragadveshas are what? Tauhi asya. For this, asya means sadhakasya. For this person who is a sadhaka, who is the karma yogi. For this karma yogi, for this sadhaka, paripanthinau. More inimical they are, O Arjuna, than the people like Drona and all these people, Duryodhana standing in front of you. They are more inimical than the outer enemy. What is this? Enemy within. These are the enemies within. Mr. and Mrs. Raga Dvesha. Very interesting couple. Okay. So these are the enemy within, and then they have to be conquered. This is how the third chapter is going to end, on the note of conquering these inner enemies. And that is where the free will comes in. So the Shastra, thank God, has been saved, and the vision of Vedanta can be followed despite the presence of what? Raga and Dvesha. More we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Nibhavashishyate. Om Shanti Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.